Hi, I'm Shelly Netzer-Edgerton, and this is Green Rose Edge. I haven't posted in a while, so I'm just doing a general thing. I just wanted to update and all. I've been doing a little artwork. I just want to get some knowledge on what you liked so far. I really hope people start seeing this and see an idea and have some ideas they want to talk to me about. I can do recipes. I can do knowledge of artwork, Harry Potter. I know a little bit about a lot of things. And I watch Ancient Aliens. I can tell you about movies. I have a very large collection, and I go from everything from vampire movies like Underworld series, The Lost Boys. I watch a lot of those. Whatever your favorite vampire movie is, that's probably something I'm really into. Twilight. I like how in vampire movies, I'll do a general overview in this video. In vampire movies, I love the evolution of how it goes into all these, the older vampire movies are like darker and stuff, like the Lost Boys and stuff brought into the new culture. And then now, with up until, and the Underworlds are more action movie type and really kick ass. And then as you get into, like, I love Anne Rice with Queen of the Damned. That was a beautiful movie. And I love Dracula 2000. I just saw Dracula Untold. That was a very good, interesting view. But Dracula 2000, I love that they have it being Judas. That Dracula is Judas. I should watch this again and do a review and write down lists of stuff just as it's happening, so I can do a basic overview of the whole movie and order and all, and then get questions and answers within my own do a review just after watching it, because I haven't watched it in probably a few months. But I love that movie. Johnny Lee Miller. Love Johnny Lee Miller in that and in Hackers back in the day. Good old Hackers and stuff. I don't have a copy of My Best Friend's a Vampire, but that was a good vampire movie back when they were comedies. I do have Once Bitten. I can give you a list of movies that I have. There are vampire movies that I like. Although there's a few that I'm not as into. They're in my collection because, like, my Queen of the Damned and Dracula 2000, I think, were on one disc. But there was, like, two other ones I'm not even sure of on there. But I do have Queen of the Damned. I do have Dracula 2000. I do have the Underworld trilogy, and I think there's another Underworld Evolution or something that wasn't on the trilogy DVD. So I have 4 Underworld movies. And 2000 and the Twilight whole saga of 5 movies. So that's the Underworld movies. I have 3, I think it's 3 different ones in the series for Lost Boys, 3 Lost Boys, plus 5 Twilights, that's 8, plus 4, so 12 just in 3 series. Averages out to 4 movies per series of the Underworld, Twilight, and Lost Boys. Like I said, I have Queen of the Damned, which is one of another trilogy, because that one has Queen of the Damned, The Vampire Lestat, and the original Interview with a Vampire. Classic vampire movies with Anne Rice. God, I love her books. And I love the movies they've made out of them. I also have, like I said, Once Bitten, which is a vampire movie with Jim Carrey back in the day. And it says on the screen, it says introducing Jim Carrey, so I believe that's his first movie, Once Bitten. It's an 80s movie, so he plays a pretty young kid. Classic 80s style movie, not for younger children. He's like a teenager at the time. I wouldn't give it to young children, but it's a very, very good movie. I have, like I said, there's other movies that I have, they're vampire movies that aren't as favorite. And I have Forever Night. I have 1 season of it. It's one of my favorite series of vampire. It's a TV show. This guy, he's a vampire and he wants to be mortal, be a normal human, and have a normal life. And it's a really, really good show. He's a cop. Plays on the night watch and stuff, and he does everything to try to and he has a partner, and it's like really good one. And the coroner, the medical examiner, is always she's in on it that he's a vampire, and she's trying to help figure out something to do to make him human again. And she's kind of his girlfriend. He kind of falls for her, and she likes him and all, but it's really interesting. It's really funny. I'm also into a lot of 90s era stuff. I loved watching Buffy back in the day, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is another good one. There's vampires in there's a vampire in the one with the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Took me a minute there. But I've watched that. Very good. Quartermain and the vampires and all that. I watched Van Helsing back in the day, and that was a really good movie. Hugh Jackman. I've seen a few other ones. I'm not as into the like Boris Karloff and the Nosferatu. I've seen them, but I didn't find them as interesting, although when I originally watched them I was much younger. much younger. I'm much older than I used to be. We all get old. But I'm older than most of you people who watch this stuff. But I'm sorry to say I'm older. But I've got years of experience with the whole thing of, like I said, vampires, witches are another big thing. If you're one of those people who's into Harry Potter, try watching a movie called The Worst Witch. Tim Curry and the and the little girl who plays Mildred Hubble also was in a movie called The Craft. So that's really good. And then they did this, the year Harry Potter came out, they did a TV series of The Worst Witch. There was a book series of it, and they just on Netflix have been doing another series, a show series of The Worst Witch. Very good. I like the new one. Saw a few episodes, didn't get as into the 90s version. In the 90s there was the TV show The Worst Witch, but the story's fantastic. She's, especially the movie, which is a little more, she's the one who doesn't do well on her tests, and she's bullied by everybody, which kind of was me back in the day. And she was mistreated by the other students, and she is even treated pretty badly by the teachers at the school. The headmistress actually treats her pretty well. This was written, so it was probably the movie came out about the time that that Rawlings was, when she was a kid. So she probably saw that. And then her Harry Potter also has a lot of talking in it. Almost a lot of the characters, if you look at the characters of the Fellowship of the Ring, there's pretty much every character directly just change the name, scratch out that name and put that name in, and you have Harry Potter and his friends. Just scratch out the names and write the names in there, and you got the same story. I mean, and then put them in a castle, then just change it to put those characters from the Lord of the Rings into the Worst Witch story, witches and stuff, and make it co-ed, change the headmistress to a headmaster, and Mildred's actually kind of like Snape, which is the best developed character. It's like Mildred grows up and becomes a teacher, bullied and stuff, but she takes it a lot more, and she doesn't have someone like Lucius sticking up for her, where she has nobody sticking up for her, and she ends up actually running away. and she wants to save everybody. She gets the chance to save the school, and then the other kids stop misbehaving and start treating her better. So, as opposed to Snape, where he didn't get that chance to do something like that, if she wouldn't have gotten that chance, and she would have been made to stay, and the only person she would have been the villain, would have been Agatha, her and Snape would have been the same characters. It's just tweaking a few situations, and so this is a fanfic of a couple. Harry Potter is just a fanfic of Lord of the Rings, and it's a crossover fanfic of a few things, and throwing in a few, she didn't really do anything original. Latin for spells, I remember that was all over the place. I don't even have any idea who was first. That's nothing new. That's always been how you did magic spells. It's always been Latin, because that's what, Celtic languages are more appropriate than Latin. Latin's more of a mainland and much further east than where the actual magic people were, which would be in England, and their Celtic languages, which when the English, the native people, the Welsh are actually the native peoples of England, by the way. The native peoples of England, some of them went over to over to France and New Brittany, and over to Brittany, France, and all, and that area, and developed and lived in Brittany, and then later came back, and they called the natives a word called Wirlash, which is Welsh, the native language for foreigner, though they are the ones who've stayed and lived in England for the whole time, from beginning to end. And the monarchs, are actually Scottish, since James, and Mary Queen of Scots was actually English, but her being a cousin of the Tudors and the closest relative, her son James became the heir to Elizabeth the First. So she descended from James, who was the son of Mary Queen of Scots, and was raised by Elizabeth the First, because of she had to convert him to Protestant, because she couldn't let a Catholic, and she didn't want to start the whole thing with her sister Mary again, and she was trying to protect the whole monarchy the way it was, the way her father had developed it. So she did all that. But whole lot of knowledge about English history but I'm more into the Arthurian legend. Now, wizards are either male and female, because Morgana Le Fay was a wizard. She wasn't a witch. She was a wizard. The witches is a slightly different culture, and that's a more recent culture. But it's a practice. It's not a religion. whereas the wizards are a religion because they are the native Celtic druids, whereas witches and Wicca has no god, and it's more a practice. It's kind of like being Catholic, only actually reading the Bible. Being a Christian witch is like reading the Bible and being Catholic. But like I said, I love anything about Arthurian legend, and vampires, witches, monsters. Mary Riley was really good with the whole based on Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. But I am going through a lot of stuff now, and I want to make sure I can post this because my battery's running a little low. So I'm going to post this and talk to you a little more later. I'll write down a list of movies I have, and I'll write down a list of stuff for my to talk about, and posting comments below. And if you like this video, do a thumbs up, and if you have any ideas, thumbs up. Help me out, come on. I'm really interested in knowing what you want. That's what this is about. It's not about me, it's about you and what you want me to do and talk about. I have so many broad ideas. I'll study up on anything you want. I'm just your little I'm just here to do a little back and forth. I want us all to be friends. So post comments and like my videos, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and you can see what you want when it comes up, and feel free to like and subscribe, and thank you. Bye.